Welcome to Future Money. I know I'm a lot late today, but there were some things I had to handle in the studio. Sorry about that, but we do have a lot we're going to talk about today. I'm your host, Armando Pantoja, and this morning's episode is loaded with a lot of insights you can't afford to miss. First of all, Ethereum is starting to make its move that we've been talking about for a while. Some of the biggest news out there about Ethereum is that BlackRock just dropped $50 million on the ETF. ETF inflows for Ethereum is hit yearly highs. Exchange supply is starting to dry up. We're starting to get what we call a supply crunch as the institutions, the banks, the elites start buying up Ethereum before the big rush is coming this summer. 3,000 is starting to look very, very promising on the horizon. It's starting to become the floor of what we expect into the future. Now, you got to be honest, I got my tooth fixed yesterday, but it's a little bit in pain. So it's kind of hard to get through this. So hopefully the pain goes away. But they did fix it. So it was they didn't have to do a root canal, nothing like that. But it was getting close to the root. So they fixed it, but it's still in pain. So they said it'd go away in a few days. So hopefully it will. So let me take some Tylenol real fast because it's hurting a little bit. But I will get through this. But Ripple just got another big news is that Ripple just got regulatory clearance to launch its stablecoin in Dubai, which is going to unlock a $40 billion payment market. And it's going to set the stage for XRP being a huge part of the future global crypto infrastructure. Now, for anybody starting small, I'm also got something at the end I'm going to share with you, a little treat. A lot of people ask me, I got $1,000. I see what you're talking about, Armando. I see all the money that people are making, especially in the CNC and also outside the CNC. So I'm going to lay out a plan at the end of this episode to show you how you can start with a $1,000 portfolio focused on the biggest innovations that are coming on the horizon: nuclear, AI, robotics, artificial intelligence. And these plays could flip your entire life if you approach them with the right strategy. Now, don't blink in this episode. This could be a huge episode for a lot of people. This is future money and it's happening right now. So let's first get into what Bitcoin is doing right now. Let's switch to the Bitcoin chart. It's on the screen. Yeah, so right now, Bitcoin is still consolidating right above that $100,000 mark, and it holds the daily EMA ribbon as support. Now we're looking for, right now we're in a strong uptrend if you stretch that chart out over a couple of months. Right now we're just waiting for a catalyst to send Bitcoin past price discovery, past that upper resistance level that we've hit with the all-time high. And if that happens, that will most likely lead to a strong altcoin season that's coming this summer. Now, we're going to talk about Ethereum and how Ethereum will lead that altcoin season. But the longer Bitcoin takes to receive this catalyst, the more likely it becomes that we're going to see a pullback. Right now, things look strong, but we need some news. We need something to happen over the next month or two, or we're going to get a pullback maybe down into the 90s, maybe at 100 level. Don't know yet, but I just want to tell you that because you should expect it. It went from 79 to like 100 in a couple of weeks. Of course, we're going to get a pullback, and we got to expect some consolidation. So the biggest news right now with XRP is that Ripple just secured regulatory approval to launch its U.S.-backed stablecoin, RLUSD, in Dubai's biggest financial zone. Now, this is not another stablecoin play. You know, we've heard stablecoins. You know, Circle's got an IPO coming. We know that a lot of big things are happening with stablecoins as people start looking at crypto as a potential replacement for some of the financial things that's happening in the world. They need coins that are stable, that are not volatile, like most crypto is. So stablecoins are becoming very, very important in the race for blockchain dominance. But what's happening with Ripple right now is that Ripple just made this huge deal. They got a regulatory approval. They also got a real estate deal in Dubai, all in the same week. Now, this is about Ripple planting its flag in one of the fastest growing economies on earth. and also one of the biggest crypto hubs on the planet, because Dubai does offer some tax incentives for people to come to Dubai, start businesses, especially in tech, especially in crypto. Dubai's legal clarity, Ripple's partnerships, and that $40 billion payments market that exists there. That's the blueprint for Ripple going forward in global expansion. Now, I like to see things like, I've been to Dubai one time. It's like a 20-hour flight, so I don't get over there too much. But when I got there, I was surprised at how beautiful and how modern it was. It's almost like, and I always tell people, what's Dubai like? I said, Dubai is like stepping into the future, 15, 20 years. All the architecture is new. A lot of things are very, very modern. It's very clean. A lot of things are structured there, and I could see how if I would live there if I didn't already have a life here in Florida. But I can see how Dubai is going to be a leader, especially in the financial world. Right now, we got New York and London are the top two financial hubs in the world. I can see Dubai being number 3. So many people are moving there. A lot of my friends are there. A lot of the big crypto conferences are held there. A lot of the big tech, a lot of the big finance conferences are there. If you look at what's happening right now is that even with the NBA, a lot of the NBA events are sponsored by companies that are based in Dubai. This is the first time we've seen this in history. Normally, American sports was sponsored by Americans. So we're starting to see Dubai's global influence start to take place. Now, we also see that Ripple is smart enough to partner themselves with one of the biggest economies on earth. Now, RLUSD did get that green light from Dubai's top financial regulator, the DFSA. Now over 7,000 companies in Dubai can use RLUSD for payments and settlements. XRP Ledger is also expanding into real estate. That's nothing big that's happening now too. Let me see, give me a second. So like I said, XRP Ledger is expanding into real estate. XRP is partnering with Dubai land departments to tokenize property deeds. I actually put an article on the street, because I am an author on the street as well, about how Grant Cardone is buying. I interviewed Grant Cardone at the Bitcoin conference, and he's talking about how he's using rent from all his properties to buy Bitcoin and also delivering Satoshis to the people who rent his property. So if you rent his properties, he takes your rent, buys Bitcoin. As the property goes up, he gives you some of that profit back, which is a brilliant idea if it works out long term. But this shows us how real estate and crypto is starting to merge together. Let me see. I can't see my stream. Let me see live. Let me get my stream. I can't see the chat, so I'm gonna make sure I get this. I'm able to see you guys' what you're asking me questions, because I can't see them until I bring this up. There we go. Yeah, so what happened here? There we go. So we got 93 watching, so it's probably because we're a little late. But also that video on the screen is messing up. So like I said, 7,000 companies can now use RLUSD. Also in Dubai, so Ripple is partnering with the Dubai Land Department to tokenize property deeds. I'm a big believer in property. I think it's going to do great things in this altcoin season. One of the few companies that are, actually have the license to do real estate on the blockchain. Now, so this is also showing you what's coming in the future. I think that real world assets, they call them RWAs, is a big, big application for crypto going forward. Meme coins, I don't believe in those so much, but I do believe that crypto will be a big part of our world. and the ability to tokenize assets that previously could not be tokenized or democratized is going to be a huge selling point for crypto going forward. Stocks is a big one. We know we got fractional stocks. We're actually going to talk about those later in the episode. But tokenizing art is another big one. If you guys don't know, art is one of the most profitable investments there possibly is. Also, wine. A lot of these things make a lot of money. And normal people aren't able to participate in that because you can't pay for $5 million, $10, $20 million for a Rembrandt. So, but you could buy $1,000 worth. If they take that art, tokenize it into crypto, made it into 1,000 parts, now you can buy 1/1000th of a Rembrandt. In that case, yeah, it may be worth it. Now you take part in the 20% annual return on those investments. Now, these are strategic partnerships. Ripple and Dubai. These two things happen in the same week is no coincidence. This is Ripple building and planting his flag in the new economy of the world. These strategic relationships are going to build that ecosystem that's going to launch RLUSD and in turn XRP into the new world of new digital world. RLUSD was launched in 2024. Remember, like I was talking to a friend at the Bitcoin conference, and he's a Bitcoin maxi. But we're talking, and he's like, I mentioned RLUSD. Oh, yeah, what's that? It ain't done nothing. It's been out, it's garbage anyway. Why is it not that big? I said, man, it just came out in November of 24. Now, it hasn't had time yet. I mean, it's actually doing pretty good. I already got 300 million market cap. That's extremely fast, one of the fastest growing stablecoins ever. Remember, you have to pay an XRP in order to exchange RLUSD on that blockchain. Now, hopefully, we can get the U.S. full approval for XRP and Ripple like we saw internationally with Dubai. So, second thing, I talked about Ethereum a little bit earlier, about how Ethereum would lead the altcoin push. Now, Ethereum right now is pushing against that $3,000 mark. Once we get past 3,000, the bet's off. It's going to go crazy. Ethereum is not just breaking resistance, it's breaking across the board. Institutions are stepping in slowly. BlackRock just bought $50 million worth of Ethereum. Most significant, and also we've seen the most significant ETF inflows of the year. Meanwhile, supply on the exchange hit a 7-year low. This is not just prices. This is not just something we're talking about. This is actually a setup for altcoin season. $3,000 is looking to be, I'm telling you, 3,000 once we pass it is going to be the floor. So I'm looking forward to that. Ethereum right now is at 2,600 roughly. But the biggest news today is BlackRock sold 1,240 Bitcoin. And they bought 27,000 Ethereum in exchange. Now that shows BlackRock that's what I'm saying. If you follow these big banks, these elite, these rich, they tell you what they're going to do. They're sitting there telling you. The world is controlled by them. And I hate to say this. Some people get mad at me. Some people don't. Some people agree. But the problem is that you can't fight. A lot of people sit back. I can't do anything. The big players, I'm helpless. How am I going to win in the stock market when they're taking all the money? Yeah, but if you just pay attention, they're telling you what they're going to do. Now, they're going to make the bulk of the money. I'm not going to lie. BlackRock's going to take a lot of the money. But you can take some too. If you watch what they do, you mimic their moves, you try to dig into why they're doing these moves, you realize that they got more information than you got. And BlackRock is so big that if they fail, they start to rig the market so they don't fail. So BlackRock don't fail. A lot of the big banks don't fail because they can rig the market so they won't. BlackRock invest 50 million or 100 billion or whatever they invest in Ethereum. It starts to go down. Well, okay, tell all your people to buy. Tell all the financial advisors that work for us and all the banks that are like basically under control by us to start selling Ethereum to your clients. And that boosts the price up. They don't let their investments go down. Right now, BlackRock has control of the Panama Canal. Who would ever thought that? Financial companies are becoming the real controllers of the world. It's kind of scary, to be honest. But in the short term, we can make money off of that. Long term, I always tell you this. You can do two things in life. You can fight the oppression, which is admirable, man. I take my hat, salute you for doing that. Or you can flow with it. There's a quote in 1984, one of my favorite books. In that quote, it says, I don't know the exact quote, but it says, basically at the end of the book, the dude said, all my life, that's actually, if you read the book, he got sent to a re-education camp. He got changed and came back. So they caught him doing some stuff against the government. Remember, that government was very oppressive. So they caught him, they took him to a re-education camp and made him watch all these films. And so he came back a changed man. And so he met one of the girls that he knew before when he was in the resistance against the government. And so the girl was like, what happened to you? Why, you're very different. And he was like, he was a different person. Now he was with the government. He was cheering for Big Brother. Before he hated Big Brother, before the re-education camp. I don't know what they did to him in that camp. I know it was something with rats or something. I don't know. They scared him. They convinced him, you know, everything. So at the end of it, he came back and they said, what's wrong? What happened to you? He said, well, I realized that all of my life during that resistance, during that fight, I was swimming against the current. And then I just let myself go in the current. He said, I realized that all that fight and all that work just kept me in the same place against the current. Once I let go, I was actually able to move. It wasn't in the direction I wanted, but at least I was able to move. Now, like I said, there's two things you could do against oppression, or you can fight it, admirable, I salute you, or you can flow with it. Flow with it, you can make a lot more money. Flow with it, you can also movement, right? And you maybe use the money that you make to support the people that fight it, because those people who fight it normally are not very rich because they have to give their lives for that. So there's two things you can do. Now, sitting in the middle complaining, oh, God, they don't do it. I can't make it because somebody ought to do something about them. That gets nobody anywhere. You only got two choices. Anything in the middle is just excuses and complaining. You got two things you can do. Choose one or the other. So somebody said I met you at Bitcoin conference. Yes, Stuart, how's it going? Yeah, I remember you. So let's go back to so if I see any super chats up there, I'll answer it. I don't see any right now. So like I said, at the end of this episode, I am going to be breaking down a $1,000 tech investment strategy. A lot of people have been asking me that. I figured I would do it on this show. So everybody could get the benefit of it. So Ethereum right now, like I said, is 2,600. BlackRock just sold a bunch. It did break that $2,600 resistance. ETF inflows in Ethereum are record high. That's 321 million poured in just in last week. Like a lot of the money that flowed into crypto altogether. Ethereum ETFs made a huge percentage of all the inflow in the crypto ETFs. Bitcoin actually saw 8 million in outflows. So that tells you the difference. Analysts say this mirrors the early phases of previous bull run. And I got to agree with that. Is that we've seen this before. And a lot of people ask me, why is it XRP moving? Why is it Bitcoin moving? Why are these things not doing anything? Because we're still early. You have to be patient because these things happen for a reason in a certain pattern. Bitcoin goes. The halving happens a year later. Bitcoin goes up, which we were early this time, actually, very early. And then money flows from Bitcoin into Ethereum. Ethereum goes up. Retail investors rush in like mad maniacs. I hope you guys aren't the masses. Masses are always wrong. They will always be poor. You have to be ahead. That's why we have future money. You have to be ahead. You got to be ahead of the crowds. So we want to be ahead of everything. So what happens, Bitcoin, and we got Ethereum, masses come in, push all the other coins up. And then you got like maybe a 6-month period of mania, and then everything goes down. Back to the level it should have been at. Like, for example, true value of Bitcoin may be at 110, right? And once these things happen over the summer, over the next few months, Bitcoin gets pushed up to 250. And then it retracts back down to 175, 200. Everybody gonna say, look, wow, it's down 50%. A lot of people lost their money. But if we're all in right now, we're still up, even in the downturn of this cycle. That's the reason why you have to be early. Now, if you come in with the masses, You get in at 200, 220, or any other, why everything else is going, you're going to lose all your money. And then you're going to panic. That's why people lose their money. They come, wait on the sidelines. Like I said, like double dutch. Remember, you played double dutch when you was a kid? I don't know if they do that anymore. You'd wait like, and some people be scared to go. They like, come on, girl. A lot of girls play it. Come on, girl, you got to go. As they're trying to get the rhythm. And like the girls that were that got actually good at double dutch, the ones that could do all the tricks and stuff, you'd see them do this. Like as it goes around, they go 1, right in there. If they mess up, they just mess up. The kids that were scared will be like, waiting to go. And like they would never jump into the double dutch. So they would never get good. Too scared. Same thing with like you got to jump into these things early. If you mess up, you just mess up because now you got another time. If you sit there all a recess, you may only have 2 or 3 times that you actually got into the double dutch. But if you jump in the first time every time, you may have 6, 7 times that you got 3 times more experience than the girl who waited. Same thing with investments. If you jump in early, not haphazardly, but early, that's a big difference. Don't jump in haphazardly. Jump in early. If you jump in early, you got more experience than the next person. You realize, well, I mistimed this investment, so next time I'm not going to do that. Well, why did I lose this one? Because you see you got more experience than the next person. We got a super chat. First, thank you for what you did for the CNC. What's your Oklo price target long term? See you in Philly on the 2nd. Yeah, we do have an event in Philly on the 2nd. I'll put the link in the bio. It's actually Who is Tall Guy Tycoon /Wine, WINE. I got to put that. Can you put that in there? It's Who is Tall Guy Tycoon /Wine. You can look it up on, make sure it's a valid link first. But yeah, Oklo, my original target for Oklo was 100. That's when it was $6. So we're like halfway there now. So that's another thing. You jump in Oklo now, the risk of a retreat or a pullback is higher, but your upside is only 80% at this point. You got in at $6, your upside was 2,000. Your pullback was almost nil. See, that's the reason why you got to get into these things early. But it's still a good potential. It's still way higher than the average return on any market. So it's still good. So accumulation, I believe, a lot of this is showing us that accumulation in Ethereum is happening silently behind the scenes. Once Ethereum clears that $3,000 mark, I believe that headlines will start to cheer it on, and retail FOMO will start to enter the market as we enter altcoin season. So somebody just asked about Oklo. He's in the CNC. He made a bunch of money in Oklo. Now, how are these people winning consistently? How am I winning consistently? How's everybody in my group winning consistently? Well, if you're ready to win consistently, you have to join the CNC. It's right there. I don't know if you can see it. JoinTheCNC.com. It's a private community, $97 a month, stocks and crypto signals, direct access and full access to me and not full access, but access to me and my team. Ask any questions you want. Every week we do that. The ones that are already inside are making real money and changing their lives every day. And also, I'm coming to your city this month. It's not a meet and greet. It's more than that. I'm going to give a full lecture. We're going to talk about how certain investments are going to change people's lives. We're going to drop some plays, the stocks and cryptos that are related to these plays. It's more of a strategy. It's a mindset. It's a game plan. It's more than just a face-to-face. You'll get to meet me. Ask me any questions you want. We're in Pittsburgh on June 21st, Philadelphia the 22nd, Atlanta the 23rd, Nashville the 22nd. That's the one. You go to Who is Tall Guy Tycoon /WINE. That's the URL. If you could put that in there, somebody. Normally these events sell out 2 weeks out. We're about 3 weeks out, so we're like a lot of it sold. Now, if you've been watching all the plays, you've been making money, learning at a distance, this is your chance to lock in. And it's more than just me. It's going to be a group of investors there. People that have come to my events, that have joined the CNC, there's people in there that start dating. There's people in there that have not found business partners. There's people in there that found ideas for business. It's more than just coming in and just hoping somebody holds your hand and shows you some pics. It's not that. This is a group of dedicated people who, more than me, they will all guide you as well. And in order to level up in your life, you got to get away from the average, the masses. You got to get into a group like this, because the group itself will pull you up. Now, rising tide raises all ships. Well, that's a cliche. People say it a lot, but it's the truth, is that if you get around the right people, they will force you. Like I said, in my book, I talk about how you want to be a good basketball player. You want your son to be a good basketball player. Take your 12-year-old son and make him play with adults. At first, it'll be difficult. He'll shot to get blocked. He won't be as fast. He'll get, he'll feel like but give him time. His level of play will come up to the adults. And then when he plays with other 12-year-olds, he will murder them. A lot of times that's a strategy they do in AAU, is that they take a kid as outstanding at his age group in a sport, and they will make him play up. He plays up with other people. He may struggle at first. He's not as tall, not as strong, not as experienced, but he rapidly catches up. And by the end, he's just, let's say he's not even as good as he's 12, he's playing 14-year-olds. He may not never be good as the 14-year-olds, but he goes back to 12-year-olds, he's a murderer, like in the movie 300. They sent the dude out to the wild for 7 years. He came back a beast. Everybody bowed to the 7-year-old. That's how, he went out to the wild, he struggled. It was difficult, but when he came back, he was a changed man. That's what the CNC does for you. Join the CNC. Yeah, first you may struggle, may not know what's going on, may be confusing. Just keep coming. Boom. That's one of the biggest life hacks, is just keep hitting something. Don't ever stop. You may be embarrassed. You may be confused. You may even feel like you don't belong. Just keep showing up. Every day I'm going to be here. Every day I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to be like a gnat where they may be trying to push me away. I'm still going to come back. I've been places where people hated me, didn't want me there. I just kept coming back and keep with a smile on my face. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Every single day, never stop, every day, until one day you break through. That's a lot of, like I said before, and I want to move on after this, is that a lot of people look at rich people and they say, wow, these people are smart. They're knowledgeable. They have talent. I've been around a lot of rich people, from billionaires. I interview billionaires at my events sometimes. I know a lot of athletes, a lot of celebrities. I know a lot of businessmen who are maybe financial, maybe traditional businessmen, maybe entrepreneurs. And I say this all the time, and I'm not putting anybody down. There's some idiots out there that are millionaires. A lot more than you think. I mean, people that don't even, and I'm not saying idiot is like a term. I'm saying low IQ individuals. Just a clinical term. A low IQ people that are millionaires, 10, 20, 30, have more money than me. Yachts and stuff. I'm like, how did this idiot get all this money? Because it don't matter if he's an idiot. He was persistent. He just kept showing up. And sometimes when you're stupid like that, you don't even know. It was a guy, I'm going to say it again. It was a guy in high school. I hope he's not listening. Well, I used to play basketball in high school. There was a dude on our team. It could be multiple dudes, so you don't know what I'm talking about. Games on the line. The dude was extraordinarily athletic. He wasn't very smart. So when the game's on the line, the coach would say, it's your time to score. We got to hit this last point. We're down 1, we need 2, and it's 5 seconds left. You give him the ball, he could jump high too. He would just take the ball, take one dribble, jump as high as he could, way over everybody else, shoot the shot and make it. And me and my other fraternity team, it was another guy that was in the computers on the team. We went, how the heck does he do that? Like, wouldn't you be, why is he never nervous? Like, he's never nervous. Like, before the shot and after the shot, he's cool as a cucumber. Like, how is that possible? Like, man, he was only like 15, 16. How was this dude so calm? Years later, we figured it out. His IQ wasn't high enough to even understand the gravity of the situation. He can't be nervous. He don't even know how bad. Like, how you gonna be nervous if you don't even understand what's going on? Coach tell you, I want you to score. Okay, coach. Right? Jump high as he couldn't score. I mean, it was just a mechanical thing for him. Now, that's how people become millionaires. It's mechanical for them. Like, you overthinking, or I don't know, I'm kind of nervous. Well, the other dudes, they like that guy in high school. Oh, what I need to do? Yeah, go to this event every day. Okay, they go to the event, they don't even see, like, the people that are maybe laughing at them, maybe saying they don't belong. They don't even see all that. They just keep showing up, and eventually they break through, make a bunch of money. And then everybody respects them, starts telling them, maybe you are smart. Then they get overconfident sometimes. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on the type of person. Like I said, these idiots, I had idiots that worked for me before, same situation. So it's not just recently, it's been over the years, they just don't understand the gravity of the situation. They do well at one thing and they get overconfident. So and it's been years. Several people have been like that in my life. It actually happens more than you think. It happens so much I can predict it coming now. So now I want to talk about how to build a $1,000 stock portfolio. Let me see if I can put this up there. Let's see if this works. If you guys can see this. Hope it sticks up there. Yep, there we go. I don't know if they can see it though. It's kind of, maybe, we'll see. Maybe on this side. There's no white. I think it's better here, right? Yeah, so we're gonna go through, actually I could do it on the screen, but I don't know how. I never used this before. So yeah, I wanna go over what a $1,000 stock portfolio. So many people start with the wrong idea. They think 1,000 isn't enough to invest, but 1,000 placed in the right way in the right stocks can open the doors of ownership to the most powerful companies in the world, the most powerful companies in our lifetime, especially in tech, especially right now. This is a time of change. More change in the next 5 years are going to happen in our lives, 5 to 10 years is going to happen in our lives than over the last 1,000 years. At times like this, there's an opportunity. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to build a portfolio based on a $1,000 scenario. And if I was just starting out. So first of all, let's start with the truth. If you're building a stock portfolio today, especially with just $1,000, it's got to be tech heavy. And the reason why is because tech is the infrastructure of the future. It's the infrastructure of the future economy. In fact, the next 5 to 10 years, almost all successful companies, let's put it out, next 15 years, almost all successful companies will be tech companies or powered by tech. And the reason why is because as AI starts to take all of our jobs, and people don't like me to say this, but it's the truth, the jobs today, not the jobs of the future. As AI takes the jobs of today, a company like McDonald's, for example, right now you got people, you got HR, you got accountants, all these things with McDonald's, a lot of human labor. But first you start out with replacing the workers at the bottom with robots. So now you don't need humans there. So then you replace the accountants with robots. And pretty soon, McDonald's is just one gigantic AI running the whole system. They don't need humans at all. In that situation, McDonald's is more than likely, is more a tech company than it is a delivery system. Like Amazon, we see it as a tech company. Amazon delivers books. That's how they started out. They deliver products to your doorstep. But as Amazon has been evolving, this is one of the good examples, it's become a tech company. Now, the products don't matter because everything up to that point is all driven by tech. The warehouses are a lot of robots in there. The website is very tech heavy. They got AWS. All companies will follow that template going forward. So you have to be tech heavy if you want to make a big impact over the next 5 to 10 years, because you'll be early. You'll be early. Look at the data. The biggest gainers over the last 5 years, Apple, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla are tech companies. NVIDIA alone went up 10 times. due to its role in providing AI chips. Tesla redefined the whole auto industry. Palantir brought AI to government. These are the foundations of a new era of capitalism that's coming, and probably the last era of true capitalism in our lifetime. Capitalism will more than likely end as we know it in our lifetime. My second book I'm working on is called The Future of American Wealth. And we're going to talk about the next 50 years in America, how the economy and how money and how economics will change everything, even politics. Now, AI is replacing knowledge. Robotics is replacing manual labor. Software is eating the world. If your portfolio does not reflect that shift, you're going to lose money in the long term. All right, so let's break this down. Now, if you can grasp simple concepts, it's easy to make money and build wealth, but it starts with understanding how money flows through the economy and why. This is called investing. These are shares, investing, shares, ownerships of the company. We all know what this is, but I want to go a little bit deeper into the world that we're going into. Now, you aren't going to. Now, we're not going to. I try not to confuse people with big terms and concepts. Not yet. In the CNC, we go into all that stuff. But with this video, you're going to have enough to get started. We're not going to confuse you with all these, jargon, EPS, all these things. A lot of beginners ask me about buying fractional shares. Now, some people are against fractional shares, but I think it's a misunderstanding of what they are. Some people are for them. Fractional shares are simply just a piece of a stock. So instead of buying the whole stock, I buy a piece of it. Now, I participate in the piece of the dividends or the piece of the return. It's not really bad or good, but I think it's a good place for a beginner to start. But you got to remember, fractional shares are only part of a stock. That screen's all messed up, man. Give me a second. The stock screen's messed up. No, it usually fixes itself. Yeah. So a lot of beginners ask me about buying fractional shares, like I said, but it's like buying like getting a slice of a pie. It's not the whole pie, but it can help you get involved. Fractional shares are okay, but eventually you want to move to whole shares. And there's a couple of reasons for this. With fractional shares, you normally what exchanges do is that they group fractional shares, buys and sells with others. So the price will change. It's not, if you buy a whole share, this doesn't happen. So what happens is the price change is never in your favor. It's always against you. So you end up paying slightly more, in most cases, for a fractional share than you would a whole share because of the way they do this. Now, when you own a fraction of a share, you also don't get the full benefits of owning a share. You don't get the full dividend. You don't get the full appreciation of the whole stock, but you do get a fraction of it, which makes it perfect for beginners. I don't have a problem with fractional investing, but I think over time, you should probably look towards whole share investing. So if you can't afford a full share of NVIDIA or Tesla, Palantir, fractional shares, we can still get in and have a piece of the stocks we like. That's what, $10, $20, $30 at a time when you begin. But you just have to make sure how much you invest don't really matter as much. Long term it does, but when you're getting started, you just need to get involved. You need to invest in something, see how the stock or the asset is delivered to you, see how that asset changes with time, with market catalyst, how it all works. Look at the metrics. Try to, it helps you learn. $10, $20 at a time it can help you learn and give you more confidence to go heavier. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, one of the biggest things you do when you start investing is don't chase hype. Don't let social media or your friends pick your stock. You pick your own stocks. Or choose stocks from somebody that you believe in, and always do your due diligence. Like I always tell people up here, you don't know my motivation for telling these stocks. A lot of people are paid to talk about stocks and crypto. I had a business partner that was involved in that world. It's legal. It's not illegal. It's legal to pay somebody to promote your stock. It's legal to pay somebody to promote your crypto. So somebody could be up there telling you that a crypto is amazing, all this stuff you buy, or a stock is amazing, you buy it, and you don't understand that person was paid. The person may not even own the stock. So you build your game plan. You stick to that game plan no matter what. That's how you turn 1,000 into 10,000, 10,000 into 100,000. Now, if you're just starting, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the big concepts like EPS, price and earning, all that stuff. You don't have to learn. You don't have to try to read charts. People always think that chart reading is what stocks is about. Now, remember, AI can read charts. I actually got an app that I'm working on that you take a picture of the chart. It tells you everything about the chart. You don't need that anymore. But you do need to understand how money moves in and out of the economy, in and out of the stock market, and how certain stocks are tethered to certain trends in technology. That's more important than the stock. The stock charts don't mean nothing, really. Some people think they read charts, and that's what everybody thinks because they see it on TV and stuff, but that's actually becoming a skill that's less and less valuable going forward. So you see a company like NVIDIA drop $90 down from $140 a month ago, like we saw during the tariff war. A lot of people panic, but I saw potential. I always tell people you need to understand everything at least at a surface level. When NVIDIA dropped, a lot of people sold. It got down from 140 to 90, but that was actually an opportunity to buy. And that's what makes the difference between those who are successful and those who are not successful. I always tell people you have to understand this. There's three things you have to understand when you invest in stocks. One is how the company makes money. Now, it's very, very important that you understand what you're investing in. It stops panic. It stops emotional decisions. If I just see a stock, I don't know how it works, how it makes money, how long, nothing. My friend just told me, buy this stock, I bought it. Now, if it drops, I'm panicking because I don't understand, for example, in AI, I don't understand where AI is. Now, you guys know that AI, we're not at the end of AI. There's a 4-phase adoption cycle or adoption phases or adoption, 4-phase adoption, we could call it, in which technology goes through. So you know where we are. We're only halfway, maybe a little bit past halfway through. So you understand that any kind of short-term drop in AI is more than likely temporarily because you understand that. Somebody who does not understand that will think that the jig is up. I guess AI is done. Well, the media tells me that, and media is always wrong. So you know that too. So they panic sell. Second thing you need to know is who the most significant competitors are, because you have to understand how long a company can stay on top. A lot of companies are new. They come up to the marketplace. It's very exciting. But if their product or service can be easily replicated with a low barrier to entry, then normally they fall off quickly. If a company has a high barrier to entry, like NVIDIA, because to build the places to build chips, you have to have a facility. The facilities are very expensive. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time to build those facilities. So NVIDIA is way ahead of everybody for that. There can be no competitors because NVIDIA owns all the chip flow coming out of Taiwan, most of it. Third thing I always tell people is that don't matter what it is, it could be real estate, a business idea, crypto, or in this case, stocks. And every time you invest money, you need to spend some time thinking to yourself, even write it down on a piece on paper. I want a full scenario in how you can lose all of your money, 100% of it. Now, that doesn't mean you will lose it. I say invest in NVIDIA. You say, well, there's no way NVIDIA is going to zero. There is a way NVIDIA can go to zero. I need you to think about it and figure it out, and then come back to me and tell me what the scenario is. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but in that, it's a thought exercise. In that process of thinking about how your investment can go to zero, you learn about risk, you learn about competitors, you learn about regulatory issues, you learn about changing environments, you learn a lot about the company, how it makes its money, you learn about the company's history. You learn a lot about a company by going through that scenario and how you can lose all your money. And you also prepare yourself mentally for any kind of drawdowns and why those drawdowns could happen in any of those situations that were in your scenario. That's a thought exercise that everybody should do every time you invest in something. It could be, if you know a lot about the stock, it could be 20 minutes. If you don't know a lot about the stock industry, it could be an hour, 2 hours. But you should always go through that. Now, don't just watch YouTube videos about it. You need to do deeper research. I like reading better because I feel like with so much video content that we don't really pay attention to it 100%. Y'all probably ain't paying attention to me now. I'm just joking. I know you are. But owning the stock is number one. You own the stock. People have, when a person owns something, it's a psychological principle that when a person owns an asset or owns something, they put more value on it than when they don't own it. So just the simple fact that you own this stock, you will put more importance on the company, on the stock. Study it, learn why it moves, why it doesn't move, learn what problems that company solves, and let your portfolio educate you. And you build that first position. It makes you build confidence. It drops down confusion. And once you're in, you start learning. You start watching trends. You start recognizing cycles. And remember, owning shares of AI companies or these rising tech companies is more than just something you can brag about. It's a belief to the world that that you believe that the world is going to be very different in 5 to 10 years. I believe that. Hopefully you guys understand that as well. Now, back to fractional shares, they were designed to get you into the game, but you should one day look for owning full shares. And that's what you build towards if you don't have the capital right now. That's what wealth is built. That's what visionaries do. So again, the big banks don't buy fractional shares. The rich people don't buy fractional shares. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, but you should always strive for more. Too many people invest, and this is a big thing that's happening right now in investing. Too many people invest like it's sports betting. It's not sports betting. It's not gambling. It's strategy. It's not betting. You lose most of the time. But with strategy, with actually investing, you can win most of the time. So let's build out that portfolio with fractional shares so you know how to start. But remember, you should one day look to get involved in full shares. But I want to show you how to do it with fractional shares. So we're going to build a $1,000 portfolio. Let me see. Can you zoom in on me? Let me see what it looks like. All right, so we're going to build a $1,000 portfolio. All right. So can you see it? I don't know. You got me to get closer. If not, we just got to do it another way. Yeah, can you guys see that on the screen? I don't know. Let's see it. Don't use a Sharpie on that thin sheets of paper. Get like 4 sheets so I don't ruin the screen. I ain't going through. Somebody said, what's my take on Polyswarm? I like Polyswarm a lot. I think it's going to do good in the altcoin season. Yeah, you can see it, right? So it ain't going to go through. It's not strong enough to go through. It's barely writing on the paper, so it ain't going through. But the first one, remember, this is a tech-heavy portfolio for people who are just starting. So the first thing I'll put in there is Oklo, of course. Oklo is number one. Oklo, remember, is backed by Sam Altman. What's going on? Okay. So remember, nuclear energy is a nuclear energy startup backed by Sam Altman. The demand for clean, reliable energy, especially in AI data centers. Remember, we're moving into a period in which AI, electric vehicles, robotics, even blockchain use a lot of a ridiculous amount of electricity. And we need solutions like Oklo to supply that energy going forward. Oklo is a fission reactor, small fission reactors. They call them SNR, small nuclear reactors. They're modular. They're almost like trailers. They build them in a factory. They send them out to sites. They send them out to small cities. Power the whole city, power the whole site, or power the whole factory or whatever for up to 20 years. It's an incredible idea. The reason why we're back on nuclear power is because of AI. AI has helped us have the ability to contain the nuclear reactor so that we don't have meltdowns and stuff like that, and also to dispose of the waste and to keep everything safe. We couldn't monitor. It was difficult for humans to monitor it before. We were doing it, but we weren't doing it the most optimal way. Now, with AI, we can do it, so that's the reason why we see all these things start to happen. So Oklo would be number one. I'd put $200 in Oklo. And remember, Oklo, that gets you roughly 4 shares, 3.5 shares, 3.7 shares or whatever. Oklo right now is at like $50, $55. So you wouldn't get full 4 shares, but you get close to it. So the second one, I would create a base, right? So Oklo is a little bit higher risk, but it would help us create a base. So second one I would go with is NVIDIA. That's a stronger base. We know that NVIDIA, like I said before, NVIDIA is one of those stocks that I strongly believe we're going to see another 10 times return in the next 5 to 10 years. So I would make a solid foundation with NVIDIA. And I would put, remember that surging AI demand with NVIDIA. But I would put $300 into NVIDIA because that's how I want to create a solid base in my $1,000 portfolio. Third thing I would do is Palantir. Palantir is a little bit higher risk than Oklo and NVIDIA, but I mean, it's a little higher risk than NVIDIA, but lower than Oklo. Remember, risk isn't bad. It's just something we have to monitor. So Palantir, I'd put 150 in Palantir. That's PLTR. So it gives us 650. We got 350 left. So there's two other stocks out there that I'll put money in. So NVIDIA, what we're going to do is we want to create a base, and we want to make that base roughly half of the portfolio. Because we want to keep it. You can take a higher risk later, but with your first 1,000, I think you should take a lower risk. Because what happens with a beginner is that if they put all their money in some crazy stock, they lose all their money. I mean, first of all, you didn't learn nothing because you just went in on hype. So you really didn't learn. You didn't, so you missed out on that. And you also lost the money, so your enthusiasm is down because you lost all your money. Or you lost half of it. So I like to start with stuff like this because it helps build confidence and knowledge going forward, as well as grow a growth in your stock portfolio. So third is Microsoft. And I would put into Microsoft $200. So that would give us roughly $850 total. Microsoft is just increasing our foundation with NVIDIA. It's a tech giant. They're in the cloud software AI integration. They have they've placed themselves at strong AI in a strong AI position. Remember, they're a big investor in ChatGPT and OpenAI. They also have Azure, which is a platform similar to AWS that is doing well. And they also have enterprise dominance. If you work for a company, you probably use Microsoft products. So that's not going to change. They got too much of a footprint into the corporate world. So it's not going to change anytime soon. So we may not see the growth of Microsoft as we will with NVIDIA or Oklo, but we know that it's not going down. And that's very important to also manage risk in your portfolio because we don't want to, we don't want a situation in which we lose a lot of our money. That's very important. Now, you'll be tempted to want to invest in these stocks that have more potential, but you got to remember, you got to constantly manage risk. So the last thing is a little bit more risky, probably more risky than all of it, but I think it could do extraordinarily well. It's called Intuitive Surgical. They create the Da Vinci robot that does automatic surgeries or remote surgeries. So that stock symbol for that one is SRG. And we will put our last 150 into that, which would give us a total of $1,000 in the market. And you can add those in. Every payday, put $20, $30 in or whatever, and build it up over time. You'd be surprised at how fast it can grow. So I hope this gave you some clarity. So somebody asked, should we invest now and wait till a pullback? So I don't, with a new investor, I would say do what's called dollar cost average, which means is that with all of these, you got $1,000. Now, remember, you got $200 in Oklo, you got $300. So instead of doing it all at once on one day, let's say you spread it out over 10 days. So you can set up in almost any exchange or investment app to do, say every day I want to put $20 in Oklo for 10 days. Every day I want to put $300 into NVIDIA for 10 days. Every day I want to put up $15 into Palantir for 10 days. Microsoft 20, Intuitive 15. And do it over 10 days. Normally you get a better price across those 10 days than you would have if you just tried to pick the time. It's very difficult in real time to pick the drawdowns. I had a guy that was in the CNC on Sunday, and he said, he said, man, all the stocks you talked about, I was dollar cost averaging in. When those tariffs hit, I panicked and I stopped. And then everything came back. He said, that was one of the biggest mistakes I've made in a year. He said, I should have kept dollar cost averaging in, buying a little bit at a time, regardless of the situation. And I said, yeah, you should have. Because that's the whole purpose of that, is that you want to catch the downs as well as the highs and create an average price for all of them. And over time, you get a better price because every day the market goes up and down. If you pick the wrong day and buy it out, you buy it at the top. But it's hard to predict the bottom. So if you do it over 10 days, maybe even 20 days, maybe even 5 days, doesn't matter. You normally get a better price across that time period. So hope you like this so far. So remember, share this video if you and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We got 5,000 investors, visionaries in my Chestnut Checkers group right now. I'm not bragging, I'm proud of that fact. We've changed a lot of lives. We have classes, live events, we give signals with both when to buy, both stocks and crypto. People are starting to wake up. People want knowledge, they want power, financial power. And I promise you, the Chestnut Checkers group is the right room to be in. Go to jointhecnc.com, go on Instagram and send me, DM me the word CNC. I'll also send you a link. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers in the next year or two. This is your go-to hub for crypto stocks and emerging tech education. Tap into the CNC, Chestnut Checkers group. Remember, we also do Future Money every Monday and Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Fresh content weekly. We got a lot of things going on, both in the social media platforms and also in the Chestnut Checkers group. So we're going to try to do an event in New York for the Chestnut Checkers group, a private event. Those are free for the members. Maybe sometime this summer. We'll try to get something going soon. So also I want to talk about 4 stocks that can make you rich while others are distracted. Now, we just talked about the 4. So while most people are scrolling social media, so we just talked about that, I'm sorry. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great night, a great day. I'll see you next week. See you on Sunday.